Chairman Wontumi and Abronye because of certain comments they made which sought to suggest a planned attempt to rake the January 31 primary for a particular candidate. You know, for the NPP, they are building up to that primary, but
that's right.
It looks like, I don't want to say all is not well, but there hasn't been a lot of calm.
All is not well. Man, I don't know how else to say it. It does not appear that all is well at all.
I'm being charitable with my words in terms of all not being calm on that frontage as well.
What's going to happen after 1st January 2026 when they all have to rally behind one particular candidate? And Brian Champon says, expect a lot more those bars to come. I'm thinking, goodness gracious, this is if it was warming up, now it's heating up. Now it's probably at the boiling point.
And realistically, they're not doing themselves a lot of favor, if we're being honest, in terms of how the campaign has gone and the animosity which has characterized the process. We know that Owusu Bempa, he's been referred to the disciplinary committee.
That's
he
right.
says it's because of his support for Kennedy Jakpa. That's why the campaign team actually is also asking that Chairman Wontumi and Abronye also be referred, so that it doesn't come off as though you are targeting
just
a particular side.
Yeah.
Because they have outrightly thrown their support for Dr. Bawumia, and now they are making claims to suggest that, because I saw that video where Chairman Wontumi was telling some delegates that they purposely retained them so that they can vote for the candidature of Dr. Bawumia again. That will raise a lot of concerns and questions as well. But these and more in terms of the development over the weekend. We wait to see what the papers will be reporting as well, so that we get into that for you shortly as well.
I'm looking at the online news portals because I think another issue that had been raised, I suppose, is closely tied to this comment by Chairman Wontumi about the voters register. Whether or not this voters register is fit for purpose, and all this chat about top-bottom approach. You know, that's been the allegation.
Yeah.
And the reason why the party is embarking on this journey to elect a flag bearer in January 2026 is because you'll have the same, crop of delegates who have already seemingly thrown their weight behind Dr. Bawumia in previous times and would appear to still be throwing their weight behind him. Now, Solomon Owusu, senior communicator, Movement for Change, formerly of the NPP, says that even the register, the NPP's delegates register, has to be closely looked at because it's got all sorts of irregularities and people who shouldn't be on there. So I wonder if that's something also the Ken Ejapon team is raising as an issue, something we can certainly get into. But the campaign is heating on. Ken Ejapon's tagline is "Get Connected." Get connected. I don't know if you want to get connected. We should put up a poll on our X page, and we most likely will.
People want to get connected.
Whether people want to get connected and who they think is the front runner at this point. I think if you closely monitor the competition, it appears that it's very close between, and this is just from what you hear on the ground, because if you listen to Global Info Analytics, Musa
who actually has, I've just received a message from him in terms of polling, a new tracking.
Fantastic. What is he saying?
Majority of voters prefer Dr. Bawumia to lead the NPP in the 2028 elections. The poll suggests 57% of voters prefer DMB, while 29% prefer Kennedy Ohini.
Wait, how much prefer DMB?
57%. That's the majority of voters, and not
This
delegates.
is not delegates.
This is not delegates.
Okay.
I'm actually just trying to, because I just got the message. I'm trying to see if I can get into it to get a bit more in terms of the whether or not there's something in relation to delegates. However, among the NPP delegate, Dr. Bawumia has maintained his lead over his closest challenger, Kennedy Jakpa. The poll shows Bawumia with 47%, Kennedy Jakpa with 17%. Dr. Champong 3%, That's Bradley Champon, by the way. Dr. Yosei Ruchum 1% and Kwabene Japan 1%. 4% of the delegates declined to disclose their choices, while 27% are undecided. So Dr. Baumia is leading even among the delegates with 47%.
Well, you might say that, but I remember listening to Musa Dankwa, again of Global Info Analytics, and I'm sure he'll be able to furnish us with this correction if need be, that where people say they are undecided, they are most likely going to the Ken camp, or that that they are not too sure. I don't know what the correlation is between not wanting to say where you are aligned to and being aligned with the Get Connected team, why they don't want to come out and say it. But I'm sure we can also get a bit deeper into that. So on the surface, it might look like, okay, DMB really has the votes, 42% vis-a-vis the Get Connected team at 17%. But if you look at those who are undecided and also undisclosed, whatever the reasoning is, Musa Dankwa says that those guys might actually be swinging towards the Get Connected team. When you add those numbers, then we truly have a race on our hands. But Brandon Champon has, 3%?
Yeah.
Okay. He has been throwing his jabs. He says the Eastern Region MPs, the 15 or some of the 15 who were told are throwing massive support behind Dr. Baumia. He says they called him on the back end. I don't know whether that is competition tactics. You know, when you infiltrate your opponent's mind, make them think that, hey, these guys came to support me. Is it true that they called Dr. Brian Champon behind the scenes to tell them, hey, don't mind the press?
I have seen a video of one man who was speaking at a function and urging the delegates to vote for Dr. Baumia, and then some days later is in a video urging
I think
delegates.
6 News mentioned 4 days later he had jumped ship.
So yes. So 6 News has already has also seen that video as well. So I saw that. I mean, it's a tricky situation to be in, and you never can tell whether or not you're winning, but obviously the poll suggests. But there's another bit about the poll on the NDC which perhaps might be of interest to you.
Yes.
That in the race for who becomes flag bearer of the NDC, you want to guess who's in the lead?
I am going to hazard a guess and say it is Chief of Staff Julius Deborah.
You're certainly wrong.
General Mosquito. That's the General Secretary.
He's actually second.
The chairman. He's second. Oh, okay. Then let me guess. Number 1 is going to be Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Absolutely. He's actually from this latest poll by Global Info Analytics, he's leading the pack with 30%, Asirun Ketia 24%, Ato Forsen 18%, and then Julius Zebra 10%, Ukujetu Ablakwa 8%, Eric Opoku, who's Agric Minister, 2%, Joshua Alabi 2%, Amakufibwa 2%, Kwame Iwadako 2%, and Spiu Gabra 1%, and Okovandapoy 0% as well.
Very interesting. We're talking about the elections, upcoming elections, a bit too speedily for my own liking.
I mean, yeah, a bit too speedily. I as well
for my own liking.
Appreciate that, because we need to have there needs to be time where it is purely issues of governance and the development of this country. But nothing stops a pollster from gauging opinions in terms of what voting intentions are. But I mean,
especially where it's just following the discourse that's on the ground. These conversations are already there. I don't think Global Info Analytics sparked it.
Absolutely.
And really, it's a new patriotic party that I think has also gotten this discourse even more lively because of that decision to head to their flag bearer polls January 2026. A lot of critiques still aimed at that decision. There's some seeming eagerness, and I think if I were doing some party comms advice, I know you haven't asked me, so I will mind my business. But give it anyways. Give it freely. I would opt for the December 2026 dates. I would rather opt for that. I would change tactics. I would just lay in wait. If it is your desire to score political points by awaiting a juicy scandal by the current administration, you lay in wait. It's like being in the jungle. You watch your prey, you lay in wait quiet, silently. They don't see you coming, and then you pounce. But I mean,
they say when they finish January 31, then they'll rally behind one candidate and head towards the 2028 polls.
We'll be here.
I've heard that explanation from the General Secretary. I've heard it from one of the leading figures in the Baumia camp, who was former STC boss, Nana Komia, as well, speak to it and suggest that, look, it's the best bet for them. Otherwise, if they leave it too close to the end, what we are seeing could play out so close to the election, and they might not stand a good chance. But 3 years down the line is good enough time to be able to mend whatever cracks will come up, and then they'll be able to. But let's go through the online portals. I think you started, but I'll start off with 3news.com, where they are leading with Kotoko urging past Kwara. Surprisingly, I expected a draw in that game, but they ended up winning. But we see also Acting Chief Justice discusses size and jurisdiction of Ghana's Supreme Court and other superior courts with Constitutional Review Commission. Kenny Japon tells students to embrace vision, courage, integrity, and humility. Reversal of U.S. visa restrictions, ignore the conspiracy theorists and scaremongers. I'll do my joinline.com as well. Imani demands ruthless audit as forensic report exposes gold for oil scandal. Also, finally on City Newsroom, deal ruthlessly with Galamseyas, land minister to Naimos. Those are in terms of the review of the online portals, what we have this morning as well, Helen.
So quite similar to some of the stories that we have discussed. Kenya Japon's campaign demands sanctions against Wontumi Abronye over anti-party sentiments. Akufo-Addo appointees were his own enemies who caused his downfall. NPP third vice chair speaking there. NPP primaries. Dr. Baumia begins tour of the central region. Again, still with the NPP. NPP distances itself from statements by Wontumi and Abronye. Some sports news there for those of you who are keenly following the GPL.
GPL. But yesterday, the UDS guys as well did the country a lot of honors in terms of winning the university games. I don't know if it's a World Cup for universities.
Interesting. Yeah. Where did it take place?
It happened in China, and the wonderful thing is they were debutants in the tournament actually, first time round. And so someone tried to explain what it meant, like when they said they were debutants. So recall when the Black Stars made it to the 2006 World Cup. So that's a similar situation for the UDS, a University of.
That's very exciting.
They entered the tournament for the first time and went all the way to win it, actually. And the winning goal was a thing of beauty. Corner kick to goal.
Oh, straight into the goalpost.
In the last minute of extra time, actually. So they conceded very early in the first half. They equalized in the dying embers of regulation time. That's 90 plus. So they added 5 more minutes and they equalized 90 plus 3. Then we went into extra time, 30 minutes. Then 120 plus 1, we got a corner kick and corner
straight into that. Commiserations to the other team, but fantastic. What is this? University something? Is it a popular tournament?
Well, they made it popular amongst us because a lot of us actually, I didn't know about a tournament like that, I'll be very honest.
I see. Neither did I.
They did fantastic in terms of their output. They were unbeaten actually. They went throughout the entire competition without losing a game. That's how wonderful. I'm sure we'll get a bit more in terms of the details. But I've seen people say they should not return to Ghana without securing teams for themselves.
Step by step, day by day. They should come and let's congratulate them first.
It's true.
Okay, if you're watching us on Facebook, that's
wow. So FISU Games. FISU University World Cup football.
Okay.
Debutants enter the tournament for the very first time, never lose a game, go through it. I think in the semi-finals, I can't recall, we played against Spain. We beat them via penalties. It was a university in Spain. We beat them via penalties, and then we got into the finals. And I mean, just in the manner in which we won it, having to equalize last minutes of regulation time,
well done
and
to
then
you,
we win it. And they train on a regular park. They don't have a stadium for themselves, amongst many other things. They've done fantastic.
I wonder what the cash prize is. I'm going to look into that. It looks like I have a friend in this team, because I know they gave I know they gave them something juicy. Oh, UDS, you've made us proud. We'll be getting, I'm sure, more of this from the sports team.
Yeah, the sports team will come through and bring us a lot more in terms of what has happened there. But there was also GPL football as well. Not a great weekend for a lot of football teams.
What's your team in the Ghana Premier League?
I'm a Hearts of Oak Hohwe United.
Okay.
Hearts of Oak won.
Okay.
We won by a goal to nil. I think Hohwe, either we drew or we might have lost. I have to just
hoy, up your game.
I have to be just
up there, Bobby Teddy. Up there, everything, the banku, the everything to give you that vim that you need. Hoy, rise.
Yeah, I think. Let me just check and be sure. Heart of Lions. No, so I'm not sure we played just as yet. We've played just as yet. But I'll get the results and then I'll share. But yeah, and also for those of us who have other affiliations to football teams outside of Ghana, it wasn't a great weekend for a lot of teams. United lost, Liverpool lost, Chelsea lost, Madrid lost. And yeah, it wasn't a great weekend.
Commiserations to all those supporters. Let's get back onto the online portals. IMF begins 5th program review of Ghana today. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, will today, September 29th, begin its 5th review of Ghana's performance under the fund program. Now, the fund, led by Mission Chief Stefan Rude, arrived in Accra over the weekend. The team will be in the country for 2 weeks, engaging the technical staff of the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana. They will also meet the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, and the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ato Forcing. We'll be finding out if he is still indeed forcing. Well,
I mean, it's stabilized. It's stabilized at 12.
Ato is for stabilizing. Sources indicate that unresolved arrears clearance issues could be a key focus, and government is yet to finalize its audit on how much was spent on construction and projects last year. Concerns are also expected about whether the Bank of Ghana's recent policy rate cuts are adequate given the sharp fall in inflation, as well as questions on its reserve buildup and dollar interventions. This review is the penultimate one before Ghana concludes the IMF program in May 2026. The final review is scheduled for April 2026. Analysts describe the current review as crucial, warning that Ghana may struggle to maintain fiscal discipline once the program ends. Some donor partners are therefore pushing for shock absorbers to ensure stability beyond the program. Government insists there is no cause for alarm. It maintains that measures are already in place to ensure markets of disciplined expenditure after the IMF exit. If Ghana passes the review, it is expected to receive about $360 million in October of this year. So just next month, we should get that injection into our fiscal space.
That's more forex for us.
More forex for us, indeed.
Stabilization.
Now, the country has so far received about $2.3 billion since signing the program. Now, the review will assess Ghana's economic data up until June 2025. Discussions will focus on inflation trends, reserve sustainability, arrears audit, weak private banks requiring recapitalization, the state of state-owned banks, revenue shortfalls, arrear buildups in statutory funds, and gaps in social spending. So a lot is going to be happening. From today, the IMF will be conducting this exercise. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of takeaways to really sink our teeth into. We'll be getting that health check or that health report on how well we're doing. And the time is fast approaching. By May next year, we should ideally be exiting. And from this story, you can tell there's some apprehension.
Where do you stand, though, when some say that there's a cause for concern about us exiting, and almost always when we exit,
we find ourselves in trouble.
So perhaps we should stay just an extra year or two so that things can really stabilize before we exit.
Because that's happened in the past. The last administration, when they came, extended that time, didn't they?
By a year. After which we went back into the capital market. We were already in the capital market before exiting, though, I have to be honest on that front.
I'll be very curious to find out if this administration will chart that path, or if
they don't seem keen on it.
If they will be confident enough in their own interventions, because I feel as though is it an indictment on one's capabilities if you
on your economic management. If
it's like I need big brother to be here with a cane behind me, but also if so far it has ensured that fiscal discipline. That's a good question. I'm not too sure how I feel about it.
It's one of the things some of the economists might want to speak to. But the government will be weighing the option as well. What I know for certain is they are not really keen on that, on an extension. There's a lot of confidence in homegrown policies, a lot of confidence in the work that the finance minister is doing in terms of the audits that have come through, amongst many other things, which they are seeking to audit a lot of payment, audit a lot of the financials as well in terms of payments that have to go on in our books. That's why contractors were not paid up to a certain point, and then we heard that now they've cleared a chunk and so money was readily available. I think when he did his media budget review as well, he revealed there was in excess of some 4 billion cedis, which there were no certificates or no work done, and so we're not going to pay such amount as well. And so that gives a certain level of confidence to the government in terms of the work that is being done. On the other front as well, in terms of the economic management, we've seen as a result of the cedi's overperformance, we've lost revenue in other areas as well. Say our oil revenue in terms of the cedi terms, we're not seeing it come up to that extent. And so overall, there is a certain level of confidence on the part of the government that they can be able to do it and do it without the IMF, but it remains to be seen. I mean, what do they say? Talk is always cheap. It remains to be seen.
Because the World Bank has actually waded into this conversation now. The World Bank has advised Ghana to be intentional and bold about breaking away from its repeated reliance on the International Monetary Fund (IMF) loan supported programs. Some might even say 18, depending on who you ask. Well, experts have acknowledged the efficacy of IMF supported programs, but argue that it is short-term orientation. Its short-term orientation does not meet the sustainable macroeconomic stability needs of Ghana. All eyes certainly on government at this point. But the papers, the dailies, they're here, hot, fresh, ready for us to get into.
There's one headline I want to read so badly.
Okay, let's go.
This on the Daily Gist. It says, "Asiedun Ketia, thank you to attend to campaign promises." I mean,
what did he say? I saw a lot of people weighing in on this thank you tour. That why is he leading a thank you tour? Is it just a way of him now also, showing us that he's ready to also? I mean,
well, now
he
we
said
know that
you.
he's in the running based on the polls that we've seen. But the thank you tour, they say it's turned into campaign promises. I'll try and get brief details of that. NPP moves to quell internal rifts. That's the story we're talking about. The Abronye, and then Chairman Wontumi. commentary, which has resulted in concerns from separate quarters. OSP blows 143 million cedis to recover 2.8 million in 2024. Ban Galamsey now. Christian Council tells Mahama. U.S. lifts visa restrictions on Ghana after deportee deal. I'm not sure that's the reason, but that's how they've captured it.
What paper is that?
That's a Daily Gist.
Because the News Center newspaper as well, I'm thinking, is your headline misleading or are you leading us somewhere? They also say U.S. lifts visa restrictions as Ghana accepts deportees. What is the connection, News Center? Maybe we can get into that in some detail.
And then Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempa again comes with an exclamation mark. Malawi's new vice president married to Ghanaian pastor.
Hey.
Maybe you want to do, or I should finish what I have here.
Yes.
Daily Democrats, PTA crucial for education. Haruna Idrisu, Lands Minister, orders ruthless crackdown on illegal miners. He's been speaking to NIMOS. GSA, Ghana Stock Exchange, holds stakeholders meeting. Jakpa fights Godfred Dame for the truth, petition CID for prosecution. That's from last week. Trasako assures stability in ongoing Temalan dispute, and KGL boss champions public-private partnerships for growth. The last one I have here, the Daily Post. Legal Green Association applauds President bold stand on Gaza genocide. I don't know what group that is. VRA explores plan to transform Akosombo Dam into power battery reserve. And then U.S. visa restriction imposed on Ghana reverse Ablakwa, ignore conspiracy theories and scaremongers, claims about USA's removal of visa restrictions on Ghana, says Minister. Those are the stories I have.
All right, let me take you to the News Center newspaper. The front page has this to say: data shows Galamsey worsened under the NDC government. That's coming from Dennis Miracles Abuaji. What is his designation? I know he's part of the Get Bawumia team. That's the tagline I've given them. We have Get Connected. So Get Bawumia. He's, I suppose, a spokesperson for the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 2026 flag bearer campaign team. MTN cut sought for 9.7 million Ghana cedis digital hub for UDS. Denmark margins deepen ties for stronger partnership in Africa's digital drive. The Today newspaper. No partisan politics allow media to work. Kufuor advocates for Pan-African Media Network to retell Africa's story. You've got former President Kufuor on the front page here. And SHS placement bribery allegation unfounded. That's coming from the GES. Full story captured on page 3. Let's go to the Republic Press. You've got to say that one slowly. Republic Press. Wontumi drops bombshell, alleges delegates were maintained to favor Bawumia. That's that video that many of you have cited. I saw that on X. The full details are captured on page 3 of the paper. But MPP washes hands of this claim. Fresh gamble in Galamsey fights. Government declares forest, rivers, security zones. We spent some time speaking about Galamsey last year, seeking to unravel what the distinction is between calling for a state of emergency and declaring these areas as security zones. But we keep the steam alive on the issue of Galamsey because it's very dear to our hearts. Takrade Technical Institute student jailed for stabbing teacher. Unfortunate one there. Collapsed National Placement Resolution Center. GNA Corps boss urges GES. Agboboloshi traders reject report linking food crops to mercury contamination. I'd like to see their counter findings. And finally, I've got the Custodian newspaper. Stop reckless marriages and giving birth by heart. Islamic cleric was just stop reckless marriages and giving birth by heart. Okay, if you're interested, you'll find the full details on page 2. Build global business giants in Africa. KGL boss to African leaders. Ghanaians now drink Galamsey polluted water. Miracles Abuaji decries. I don't think it's now. We didn't start drinking the Galamsey polluted water now. But there's full details on page 3. NPP promises free fair presidential primary, and Denmark margins build alliance in Africa's digital drive. There's more of that on the back page of that newspaper.
And let me get into the Esirun Ketia thank you to attends to campaign promises. And the story is by Daniel Bampo. He says that it was an afternoon of promises, reminders, and political reassurances as the chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esirun Ketia, stormed Suhum on his thank you tour. But while the event was meant to celebrate the NDC's 2024 electoral victory, it quickly turned into a catalogue of campaign pledges waiting to be fulfilled. At the E.L. Nyako Pentecost Church Auditorium, party executives, traditional authorities, and religious leaders all lined up with their wish lists. From jobs in the security services to new schools, a hospital unit, a hearse for the Muslim community, and even a manufacturing factory, the demands stacked up like unpaid bills from the campaign season. The wish list, gets constituency chairman Richard Jifa Afasi opened the floodgate, reminding the national chair of commitment made in 2024. Now, faced with the mountain list, Esirun Ketia, who is lacing his shoes to run for the NDC, they've been conclusive in this story by the Daily Gist. It says he's lacing his shoes to run for the NDC presidential race, along with equally competent people like the Chief of Staff, Julius Zebra, who incidentally comes from the municipality, adopted the voice of reason, telling the crowd to be patient. He assured them that the president, John Mahama, had not forgotten Suhum and that the promises were not empty. That's what we have in terms of thank you to attends to campaign promises. What do you have?
All right, the Republic Press had this one on the front page. For those of you who haven't seen that video, Muntumi drops a bombshell, alleges delegates were maintained to favor Baumia. Now, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Bernard Entry Bosiako, also known as Chairman Muntumi, has made a startling claim about the party's current internal dynamics, alleging that the party's executives have strategically repeated all delegates for the January 31, 2026 presidential primary in favor of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia's flag bearer bid. In a recent conversation with some party members, Chairman Untimi urged delegates to support Dr. Baumia ahead of the internal elections, drawing historical comparisons to former President John Agyekum Kufuor's journey to power. NPP chairman's bombshell. Untimi alleges favoritism towards Baumia. Untimi cited the example of delegates from 1996 being maintained to vote in 1998 for then candidate Kufuor, suggesting that similar orchestration is happening in the party's current dynamics. Observers have indeed warned about the implication of Chairman Untimi's comments on party unity, emphasizing that the NPP's internal dynamics and favoritism allegations could lead to divisions within the party. The 5 presidential aspirants vying for the party's flag bearer slot are, you know who they are, but we can go through it quickly. You've got former Vice President Dr. Baumia, Kennedy Ohene Japan, former NP for Asin Central, Dr. Brian Chambon, MP for Abitifi, former Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, former Minister of Education. Then you've got Engineer Kwabena Eje Ejapon, former NPP General Secretary. How did Engineer Ejapon fare in that poll? Did he even feature? Let's take a look. He
features, but
did he get 1%?
It's not looking so great for him. Let me just go through that quickly.
I think 3% or so. I could be wrong. Let's see.
Yeah, 3%. Engineer Kwabena Ejapon, 3%. 3%. You're actually spot on in terms of what it is that he's getting.
All right. Interesting one there. I'm sure we'll be getting more sound bites as the days.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be a calm in the storm any time soon for the NPP in terms of how things are faring. I'll be very honest. Because once national executives, they are members of the National Executive Committee, both Abronye and then Chairman Wuntumi. once they make comments like these, you don't expect the others to be confident of the fact that all is fair. Despite the party's insistence that, because persons have suggested that why didn't we change delegates from the bottom all the way up before we decide who will lead the party. Then, with that not really settled, someone comes, and not just anybody. Chairman Woon, to me, who at the last time of checking is vying to be a chairman of the party nationally as well, comes up and says, well, we didn't change anything because we want you to be there and vote for.
He says, like we did in 1996 for President Kufuor, we want the same thing to happen. Well, we keep a keen eye out on
and
that.
so that doesn't give the others a lot of confidence. But hey, let's see. The party has disassociated itself from the comments.
That's right.
Some are not happy. They say they require a lot more than just that. The Canadian Japan team say you have to sanction them.
That's right.
And we wait to see if that becomes the option for the NPP as well. But I see you have another story.
Yes, this one piqued my interest. Also on the Republic Press, Agbogboloshi traders reject reports linking food crops to mercury contamination. Again, last week we got
How
into...
are they rejecting it?
That's why I want to see what the evidential findings are. Maybe they also sent a team to do some counter investigations. So let's get into it now. Traders at the Agbogboloshi market in Accra have rejected findings from a recent study by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and UK-based NGO Africa Pure Earth, which linked food crops to mercury and heavy metal contamination in mining areas. Now, the report revealed that staple items such as contumely, tomatoes, coconuts, and other vegetables from 6 mining affected regions, that's Western, Eastern, Ashanti, Central, and Savannah, were at risk of contamination from illegal mining activities. Now, while the study has sparked widespread concern over food safety, traders insist the claims are unfounded and harmful to their livelihoods. I'm quoting here. If contumely is contaminated by galamsey, what about cassava? The report is completely false and it's affecting our business badly, lamented trader Mavis Mele. Vendors of leafy vegetables such as cabbage, lettuce also dismissed the findings, arguing that their cultivation practices make contamination impossible. There's no way cabbage or other vegetables could absorb polluted water. If that were the case, they wouldn't survive at all, said greengrocer Rebecca Kufuor. Some customers echoed the trader's view, saying the produce looked fresh and safe. A shopper, Linda, noted that washing vegetables properly before cooking was enough to make them safe for consumption. Health experts, however, caution that the risks are real and often invisible. Medical practitioner Dr. Arab warned that crops exposed to mercury and other heavy metals may appear fresh but still pose serious dangers, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, and neurological damage. She stressed that once such harm occurs, it is irreversible. So the traders did not come together to conduct any other report or go in the soil and go and check and find out. They just said, no, the vegetables look fresh and juicy, ready for consumption. If you cook it, nothing will happen to you. So for them, all of this talk about mercury and lead and all of that, I
think it comes from a place where we're used to seeing the things that will kill you a bit more physically. So
like the weevils and everything.
Exactly.
We're in pure denial.
Absolutely.
We are in pure denial. Because if we really accept that what we're eating is killing us, then we would be in a state of absolute despair. I just see this as a coping mechanism because scientists have gone in the soil. And listen, I have accepted that every day I'm possibly consuming some level of... Because there's
absolutely no way you can tell.
Just by looking at it, they say, it looks fresh. And you can't tell.
You can't tell. I mean, you can't tell. And so that's a difficulty that we have to live with. And even as we are raising concerns, I don't know if you saw a video on social media of a galamsey cooking plantain at one of the Galamsey pits in a Chanfan.
What?
Yeah, there's a video like that on social media, and I was asking myself, even as we are in Accra and were concerned about heavy metal contamination of our food, you're directly dipping the water and everything. He's dipped his plantain in it because a chamfan, because his boy is hot, and so he's put some water there and he's boiled plantain. And I mean, that was everybody and their hustle. But anyways, Helen, thank you very much for helping us do the news review this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise.